Hello everyone, this is Vernel and welcome back to this channel. We are very excited on what we will be unboxing today. As we all know, for TINHiWhoops, HD footages directly to your goggles is not readily available before. DJI created this very good system, but we are not able to put it on a 65 or even a 75mm drone, which for TINHiWhoops is the perfect size to fly a TINHiWhoop. Now, here comes SharkBite, which was under Fat Shark before, and they have created this digital system similar to DJI, but on a different mode on how they apply the digital system or the HD system to their product. SharkBite was discontinued by Fat Shark, and now they transferred every support to DVMath, which is led by Carl Zhu. So I hope I pronounced it correctly. We should thank this guy, this Sir Carl, for bringing us over this HDZERO system. Now, HDZERO created this VTX that is small enough to fit a 75mm drone and even a 65mm drone, and we are very happy on how it would look, because analog is a good system, hands down. There are a lot of pros, or there are a lot of good things that we can say about analog, but of course the quality is really not that good because of the resolution that you can transfer from the VTX to the VRX. So we cannot do anything about it. That is the limitation of analog. Now DJI created their system, but it's too expensive, and at the same time it's too heavy. And here comes HDZERO. It's a great improvement if we compare it with analog, and of course, if you have an existing system, you just need a VRX, which is this one. This is the HDZERO HD FPV VRX. Alright, so we are very excited to open it up. Talk about the specs of this VRX. Oh, by the way, we mean VRX because this is not the goggles itself. This is just a receiver that you will put on your goggles, and make sure that your goggles has an HDMI in. If your goggles doesn't have this, you cannot use the VRX, or you have to wait for the HDZERO goggles that will come probably end of this year or probably early next year. All right, so let's look at the specs of the HDZERO. It is rated at 12 watts of power, and the voltage it can accommodate is from 7.4 volts up to 25.2 volts, and it can accept 2S up to 6S LiPo battery, and the resolution is HD, or 1280 by 720 at 60 frames per second. Let's open it up. You have some stickers here, HDZERO and DVMath. You have your VRX. You have some connectors here. This is a connector that you can use for the battery lead, and this one is for your goggles and for your VRX. So you can use it. You can use one battery both for your goggles and for the VRX. You also have this HDMI mini. Side to side, so you can place this on the goggles and the VRX, because you will run the footage via HDMI or HDMI input on your goggles. So if your goggles has that option, you're good to go. So this is the mount that goes into a Sky Zone or a Fat Shark goggles, but in my case this will not fit on this SkyZone Cobra X because this part is a bit big for this one. So some people just 3D print a mount directly to the SkyZone Cobra. But in our case, we will not be able to do that because we don't have that option. Now this is the controller for the VTX or the VRX, I'm not sure, but this is a controller and it has the HDZERO logo. You have some extra connector. I believe this one is for the goggles, and the other side is for your drone with HDZERO VTX. You need this if you need to update both the VRX and the video transmitter from the drone. Okay, so this is another, I think this is just an extra lead if you need one. Now we'll look at the HDZERO VRX. Oh, there's an extra battery, probably for the clock of this VRX. That is one thing that I really like about this HDZERO. You can have a working clock inside your VRX. And if you use analog, you would know that every time you do a video, the time would be under 1980 or even something 1977. So, because it doesn't have an internal clock. But this one, the VRX of HDZERO, it has a clock. And it's a good thing if you have a lot of footages. You just need to probably sort it out by date, because it would be tagged when it was saved under the on your micro SD card. All right, so let's go back. This is the VRX of HDZERO. Let's look at the front side. As you can see, there is a fan inside this hole, so this would keep the VRX from overheating. You have 4 SMA port for your antenna. It is suggested that you use the same type of antenna for the top, same type of antenna for the sides, okay? Or you use the same type of antenna for all of the ports. All right, so that's how it was suggested by HDZERO team. Okay, let's look at the side here. This is where you put your lead, your battery lead. You put it here. Okay, so that would work, and that would fire up your VRX. So there's some holes on the side also for air flow. At the back, there is none, just some intake and some screws. On the left side, nothing, just some holes. At the top, you will see that there is the mount that we are talking about. If you can 3D print your mount directly to your goggles, the better. If you don't have that option, I will use, just like me, I will be using some Velcro. I'll just put it at the back and at the Cobra X so that we can attach this on the front of the goggles. Now you have also this, not sure if this is just a switch, but there is no instruction inside, so we don't know what this is for. We'll try to look at it. Okay, so at the bottom you have some slot for the micro SD card. So if you have a lot of footages, you put it in this micro SD card slot. You have this HDMI where you will use this and connect it with your goggles. This one, I'm not sure if it is for this plug. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know that one of this is the important plug for updating both the VRX and the VTX. As you can see in this at the top and at the bottom of this VRX, there is some rails. Now, there is a purpose for that. If you use patches or patch antennas, I think Immersion RC create good patch antennas. You just slide it here, just like how you would place it on the Fat Shark Bite, and it would you can use it to mount an extra patch antennas for the sides. Okay, now I remember what this is for, this connector. This is the ELRS backpack expansion plug cable. So if you need to control the drone via ELRS, you can use the VRX to use ELRS so that you can control the drone via ELRS. I am also excited on the ambient audio recording within this VRX. So if you do some flight footages, you can just directly speak to the VRX and it will be recorded on top of your movie or your video file. So this is one good option. I use the Cobra X, but there are no option to add that audio, or that you can just comment on how you flight, on your experiences for the flight. So okay, we have finished unboxing the HDZERO VRX. What I want to do now is to do some flight footages, and let's see how it works. But since I don't have any good antennas with me right now, we will just be using this for dipole antenna that I have, just to test it over if there are no issues with this HDZERO VRX. We just place this for antennas. Although this is not the ideal scenario for this kind of flight, but I hope it would get a point that we just need to test this VRX. Okay, so that's how you would usually do it. So okay, now we will try to fly it. So I hope this flight footage that you saw will help you to appreciate HDZERO. And I cannot stress it enough. We need to thank Carl for being enthusiastic with HDZERO, because without this, TINHiWhoop community would still be stuck with analog. Until DJI feels that we are important and they would create a very small VTX. But until then, HDZERO would be the best option for TINHiWhoops with HD footage. I'm quite happy when people do appreciate the work that we do, because this is not a cheap hobby, but we will try our best to improve on all of the videos that we create for everyone to enjoy watching. If the videos is not that good for you, my apologies, but I hope the video helped you in some ways to probably decide if you will go to HDZERO system. If you do not want this HDZERO VRX, you can just wait until DVMAT produced or mass produced the HDZERO goggles, and it would have this built-in VRX inside of that goggles. Okay, so I hope you like this video, and if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. If you have some comments, please do put them. It would help the channel to have a good algorithm check. And as always, see you in the next video. Happy flying.